Okay, welcome back to J&J Mondays on a Sunday. I'm Jock Lee, as always, J77 for short. Johnson, Hatless Johnson is here in a remote location inside the Victorian kitchen. And we also, as usual, our partner from the UK, simply known as Kat. How you girls
Hello.
doing?
I'm okay, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good considering that fall came finally. It became more colder at nighttime than the daytime, so that's a good sign. I don't have to worry about scorching summer. Josh, how about you? How's Florida?
It's Florida. We really only have two seasons, summer and around 2 days of winter.
That's all you need. All right. In any case, we have a we're gonna get this out the way because this has been always been a sneaky trope that Johnson has done, and I've noticed that our newly co-host with us seem to have something in common. It's a book series. And every so often, when we talk about something serious in the topic or something else related to the movies, they slip on that same book story and find a way to connect it in there, even though I still don't know how it has anything to do with it. We could be talking about animal schemes right in here. It's like part of the animals. We can talk about RoboCop and the scene with the person exploding to a million pieces like getting hit by a car, and animals somehow is connected to it.
I've never watched RoboCop, so I'm going to leave that connection to Kat. He froze. He froze in our awesomeness.
I a way to connect their favorite show. I'm not even gonna talk about the fanfic that Josh has. I mean, Tobias, I feel bad for you.
Fanfics, God damn it! And I've stopped with those crack fics for a little bit, just because I don't really have enough time.
No, you haven't. You're waiting for the big boom. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm actually doing other projects. I have a life outside of weird animal porn.
So last week, or 2 weeks ago, we was ending the show. We was talking about how we're gonna make up the schedule that we messed up on a top list, which now seems to slip my mind because I'm just so focused on this. And animals came up, and Kat, you was just giggling. You was so happy. She was happy, and I said, "All right, that's it. That's the next episode. We're gonna do the next episode."
Board game.
That was after the show was recording. Like you people listening think you have heard how high-pitched Kat's voice can go. You have no goddamn idea because I showed her the Namor's board game and goddamn, usually I need some prompting.
But here's the thing. She can't find that clip.
I want to hear how high I went.
She can't find this clip for some reason. But I was like, okay, all right. It's obvious. There's a reason why One Big Happy isn't called the Animal Show because you guys just go. I can only imagine how happy or how giddy you are when you talk about animals. I don't know if you guys do rereads or anything else, but I just said I gotta find out.
I do two Animorphs podcasts. One general topics that span more than one book. That's with Extra Happy. Zone 91, I haven't done a new episode of. It's basically looking over. And that's not even touching on I have a reread that I do written blog posts of. I've just gotten finished with the first Megamorphs book. I do Animorphs fanfics, and sadly, some of the longer, more serious Animorphs fanfics I've had to put a stop to as I've been working on the Rin duology, and that's really taken up a bunch of my life.
Let me just go on and also say this before I get to the box office results. I want you to keep in mind of something here. This book came out because keep in mind there was no hardcovers for Animal. This is all short stories.
There were some hardcover editions of some, like the Hork-Bajir Chronicles had a hardcover as did Vischer.
Let me correct myself. Those hardcovers were for school only. I should know. Goosebumps don't have hardcover, except the schools have hardcover, and I kind of wonder.
No, those weren't for hardcover, for school because I got them at Barnes and Noble.
The only one that we had in middle school was a soft cover, which was how I got into Animals.
You must be very lucky.
That was a soft cover.
Because I'm telling you right now.
Book.
I'm telling you right now, you must be lucky, Josh, because I'm telling you right now, those popular books are made popular because they were soft cover. They were
well, the main series, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, etc., were all soft covers, but some of the bonus books were hardcover.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was actually bonus books.
That's the Chronicles and the Megamorphs books. And we're not talking about Alternamorphs because fuck them.
Okay. But here's the thing. I don't know what happened to Megamorphs. I don't know why you don't like that kind of Animorph series, but okay, it is. This is a series that came out.
Adventure series.
That sucked. I am a fan of Choose Your Own Adventures. That just fucking sucked. Okay, were you trying to say something?
You're starting already. You just can't wait. This is the whole thing. And we're going to get to it. Hold on. But here's the thing. Out of all those books, because look, this came out at the same time where short story novel series were at a high trend. It still is in many ways, but not as it was in the 90s. In the 90s, and even in the 80s, you had Fear Street, Goosebumps, Animorphs. You had some of the Star Wars miniseries that came out in short story form. You had Encyclopedia Brown. I think I'm the only one that remembers that thing. Curious George. You had what is that? That Babysitters Club. That probably one of the
Boxcar Children.
All these miniseries. So this is actually something like I'm a Fear Street fan. I actually like Fear Street fan. I never got into Goosebumps from Arnold Stein, but I got into Fear Street. I love Fear Street. I always have to get the book of Fear Street. But I never really went into as far as actually embracing it as the mega of all mega books. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I don't talk much about Harry Potter. You two, when it comes to Animorphs, you talk about it religiously to the point where I'm not surprised that you guys will make a script for a new movie for Animorphs because you guys hate the TV show.
God! Basically, everything Animorphs was very dark and gritty, especially for a young adult series. Nickelodeon pussified it so that everything good about Animorphs was gone. They had a few good things in the show.
But we'll get to that young adult thing later because I'm kind of surprised you guys categorized young adult because it wasn't actually considered young adult in
No, it was young adult. It was.
We'll talk about it. But here's the thing.
Young adult section. I don't know what fucking line you went to.
Okay, we'll get to that because we'll get to it. Don't worry. But I'm going to be asking all these questions. I have to. All right. But before we get to that, we have to go through.
No, we don't.
And we have to go to the box office section.
No, we don't.
And I almost forgot to give you guys a link to it. So let me just give you the link real quick. I'm going to give you a little link right here.
Let's say that.
And get this out the way.
God, my ear is just in front of Bluetooth. And the thing is, it took me like 5 minutes to get this shit in, so I can't take it out and readjust it. I hate you.
There's about 10 films that came out this week. There was a TV show that came out with this week, and I'm not going to watch. And I'm not because I'm not a Star Trek fan, because I love Star Trek. I'm just getting tired of seeing prequels on Star Trek. But there's a couple of films that came out, and questions of whether these films will be a hit or underwhelm is still up in the air. Let's start with the top 5. Number 5, obviously,
Flatliners.
A film that I didn't think was necessary to remake, but they remade anyway. It made only 6.7 million.
I think I've heard conflicting reports if it's a sequel or remake because like one of the actors is in the new film, and in one of the trailers that character is briefly shown. So I don't fucking know what it is, but I just don't think it's solidly a remake. But I'm actually only interested in seeing it because of the cast. Okay,
well, it didn't seem like it did well. I mean, it was released by Sony Pictures. It didn't have this is the new release, and it didn't blow nobody away. It made only 6.7 million. I don't know the international feeling of it. Maybe the international crowd, like UK and France, may have a different feeling towards this movie, but it didn't seem to jive well with a lot of people. First of all, I didn't think the first one was that great anyway. I mean, I understand what the concept was, but I didn't think it was something that ran home to tell my mother. In fact, I'd forgotten about it after a few years. I know Kiefer Sutherland started, and that was it. And Julia Roberts. But in any case, it wasn't that. It wasn't something I was actually rooting for. The film cost 19 million. It may make its budget back, especially in international waters, but it's going to underperform at least in their run in theaters. Another film. This has been their third week, and I think this is a film that doesn't show the budget. I don't know if they make their money back, but I do know this may be the lowest Lego movie in terms of revenue.
Ninjago.
Yeah, I actually forgot that it was coming out this year. I thought it was coming out next year. Honestly, I heard about the film. I said, "Oh, it's coming out next year." I thought the Lego was going to make a movie every year, and that would be it. Lego Ninjago didn't even sound like a. You know what Batman was based on? We also know what the other Lego movie was based on.
Well, when Conan goes to Comic-Con every year, and he has like casts of movies and shows onto his own show a few of his nights, and he had the cast of the Ninjago movie, and everyone who was a parent knew about Ninjago, knew what it was. So I guess it's a very kid-oriented part of the Lego thingy.
Oh, okay. Well, they must know what he's doing.
Like all the parents know, oh yeah, I know that, my kids love it, blah blah blah.
Okay, well, I'm not a Lego maniac, so I'm not worried about it. So
I think
they're still out there. They're still actually there, even though that was a catchphrase that in the '80s. Lego Maniac is real. They got their own store at Rockefeller Center. So in case you ever Kat, you ever come to New York and you want to know where the Lego store is, Rockefeller Center. You can't miss it. Well, it made 12 million.
Oh, I want to come over now.
And there's Disney has a little Lego store too, like a little one.
Yeah, a little one. This one, all you can't get is Legos. They got electronic Legos in that store. It's beautiful though, but expensive though. You gotta.
Oh God, she's getting hyper. Just stop.
Too late.
Okay, so the Lego movie made 12 million. It's been out for 3 weeks. I don't know the budget of this. It's $35 million, so I don't know what's the actual budget. I'll look them up later. It's really not important. But Ninjago, I think it's the weakest of the 3 films that came out so far because I think the Batman one was just so great, and you also have the Lego movie. So maybe this will be the weakest of the 3. Who knows? Maybe I'm just overlooking at this. What I'm not overlooking about this is the Kingsmen. Debut at number 3. The Golden Circle made $17 million. Not exactly the big profit that many people expected from the sequel. It did cost them $104 million to make. They only made $66 million. Keep in mind, they was number 1 last week. They beat out It. And It said, no, we're taking back our crown, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I saw the sequel, and it was pretty damn good. Revs was very meh about the first film, but loved the sequel. No, and I still enjoy the sequel.
Well, funny thing is, nobody expected the first film to be anything. It was a big hit, and it was surprised a lot of people. And I think that even with the mixed reactions, or just people being cautious with the sequel because they don't know what to expect, it didn't blow nobody away in terms of money performance. I mean, it's been in theater for 2 weeks. If it makes its money, it's still going to underperform. I don't think it's going to justify getting a third one unless the international revenue is can justify. But in any case,
yeah, you hear that, Kat? Go fucking see the movie.
Which one?
Kingsman. We want a third one.
Okay.
I want one. I don't care what anyone else.
Number 2 is American Made. Universal's Pictures made $17 million. It's a $50 million budget. Again, not really high impressive numbers considering that this is supposed to be a week where movies are supposed to come out. There's a new release. Film cost $50 million to make. About 3,024 theaters. Um, I'm gonna hold my feeling on that for a little while longer because again, it is a film that can make its money back, but I seriously high tight rain. Again, a lot of films gonna perform here. A lot of new movies that's gonna really come up short in the box office when it comes to these movies. Number one, no surprise, it.
Yes.
And listen, look, can we not be surprised here? There, look at the competition. There's nothing really taking this movie out. I think people are going back here seeing it twice. It still has 3,917 theaters that it's being played in. Obviously, it is now considered to be the highest grossing horror film to date right now, which is kind of amazing considering that this film only cost $35 million to make, and it made already almost $300 million. I do again. This is only on the U.S. gross and U.S., Canada, North America theaters. It could be more internationally. Is it out in the UK, Kat?
I wouldn't have a clue, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, keep in mind international numbers are much different. I can easily click on international if I want to. I don't really feel like it because. But this is probably the reason why. This is what we are seeing here. Again, it number one again after being knocked down to number two, so it didn't really go nowhere. And if you look at the numbers here, 17.3, 17 million, 17 million right there, and you got Ninjago, whatever you want to call it, 12 million right there. Flatlines didn't even come close to any of these numbers. They were way off in these numbers. Before we go, let me just check the internationals.
This for shits and giggles.
It says the results by territory. When we click the territories and review, nothing. They're not giving me anything. They're not giving me anything. I think I can't get it. Nope, they ain't giving me nothing. Oh well, I tried. I tried. But they say
that's all we can ask.
I'm stuck with the North American list. Okay, let me give you the list and the rundown of all the films that came out this week. You may be interested in seeing. To Death Do Us Part. That's the movie that came out. Question of Faith, also a new release. We had, I have no idea how to say this name. Look like a baby made it. Joanna 2. I'll let you guys have that fun with that one. It's number 16 in the box office. That's just came out. Pearl Jam, Let's Play 2. Lucky came out this week. Mark Theth, The Man Who Brought Down the White House. I'm pretty sure that's a documentary that came out. Thai, whatever the hell that is, just came out. Guys who don't know what that is, it's number 38 in the box office. 14 theaters though, so there's a lot of movies that came out, but a lot of them are independently run and on limited theaters. The one I'm actually got my attention because I'm actually a fan of Pearl Jam, so if it's in New York, I will try and find it because I actually want to see that movie. I actually am curious about Pearl Jam. Okay, enough of that.
You can come in. Join us.
Oh, is that Rev?
Become part of the collective. Yeah.
Is that Rev?
That was Rev.
Where is he?
He's right there. No, he's not coming.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess he knows Animal of Time. And speaking of Animal of Time,
he just knows it's a podcast. Not to interrupt. We don't care. We're not professionals.
We got one viewer, so I'm just going to go right straight down to it. Animorphs. This is pretty much going to be one big happy. I'm hoping I said your own podcast right. So I'm just going to say.
Extra happy.
Okay, extra happy with a side of fries. All right.
Maybe.
A fan from the U.S. I got a fan from the UK. I just got an email from Magic Expression. So I'm going to be listening to this.
Is it about Animorphs?
Animorphs, yeah. Okay, shit. I of course.
No, hold on. Out of all the books that came out during the 80s and 90s, how is it possible that this is the book that's still stuck on your minds? I'm going to let you two talk about this, and after you finish answering that question, I'll bring more questions to you, because I got to know that it's no coincidence. We have a conversation, Animorph, somehow, some way, he's popping up in these conversations. I need to know why you keep bringing this up in this conversation.
Because I can.
Okay, just tell me, both of you, because I know you guys didn't live together, so obviously there is a separate connection between this. I'd like to know what's your connection to this book. How did you got introduced by this book, and why is it still a big favorite today? But the first question is, and I'm going to go for you, Kat, first, and then Josh, you go second. How did you got introduced to Animorph?
Book number 4, The Message, in my middle school library. And just the fact that it had a dolphin on the cover, and I was immediately intrigued.
Good. I love how dolphins in the series are supposed to be this really majestic, really dogs of the ocean. And then I learned later when I'm an adult that they rape, they actually rape. And then that, just ruined my childhood.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that, but
I'm sorry. That's that keeps on popping up in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's so happy in the series, and I'm like, oh yeah, facts. Sorry, Kat. Really sorry.
Pat, you may continue. Josh, I'm just trying to.
I'm out. I'm fucking out. Okay, Kat, continue.
Yeah, Josh. Go ahead, Kat.
I already gave my answer. It's your turn.
Okay, so you got at the library. Were you hesitant to read that book, or you just turned the page, and what really got you stuck on it? What was the one chapter that really said I got to continue reading this series?
It was the concept of people being able to turn into animals, really. I was just like, oh, this seems interesting. I'm gonna keep reading. It's a good escape from the trauma I'm currently going through. So yeah, I'd rather fight aliens than watch a family member fight cancer.
Aww.
Apparently, it's a lot more fun. Yeah.
Very true.
Okay.
That's true.
All right, so Josh, same question.
No questions, I guess.
Same question.
What's your
Anyway,
Oh God damn it! I actually wrote this in a blog post. God damn. At the start of the written Animorphs reread. So basically, what happened was I was in 4th grade at a school I would only be going to for 1 year. It was really tiny and small, and the Scholastic Book Club, little pamphlets that we used to get. I was looking through a book to read to get, and I saw the first Animorphs book, and I saw the concept to be sort of interesting. I'm like, oh, sci-fi aliens. And previously, I had not read any, wasn't a really big, huge reader before. I can't remember any book that I read pre-Animorphs that really sticks out in my mind, except books like If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Oh. And so then when
name?
If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
You wrote a book about, forget it. I'm not even going to try and attempt to ask that question. So,
I'll continue. So I got the book in the mail, and I read it, and from the first chapter, I was hooked. I mean, at first there was this mystery of what's going to happen, and then once Alf Fangor appears, I was fucking hooked. Just a chapter or two, and on. Yeah, it got me. And as books continued to come out monthly, I would keep on rereading the old books.
So,
at some points, I had to have the books taken away from me so I would read other shit. It was like my crack addiction.
So you started the first book, or you started like
The first
3 books down the road?
The first book, and once the first book came out, I was there at the very beginning.
Okay. All right. So we're both of you guys ended out. One thing you have in common, you got introduced to a library of some sort. My question is that what was it about the characters that intrigued you the most? Obviously, it was the morphing powers. What character really you could actually bond with the most? What was the most relatable character? Kat, you're first. Josh, after she answers a question, you can go and stop smiling.
I'm not smiling.
Scaring.
Fuck you.
Look at that grin. You can't wait to answer that question. I already know what it is, but we're gonna answer it anyway.
If
Go
I
ahead,
take
Kat.
my character right now.
Just wait until I start laughing. Don't be scared about going. Just wait until I start laughing.
Oh god, yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is really. I understand why you're giggling.
Stop giggling, Jocker. You're not helping.
I'm not saying anything. I'm
Okay,
just wondering what you're doing.
okay, Jocker, be quiet. Cat, speak. Breathe.
I'm okay.
This is like.
Okay.
Wait, we're not in a concert.
Okay, Jocker, we're trying to get Cat to talk.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Okay.
There's gotta be some character because she's like she's like this is a rock star for her.
Okay, so the narrator of book 4 is Cassie, and I was intrigued by her mostly because it pretty much tells us straight away that because her parents are vets, like wild and animal vets, she knows how to bond with animals, and of course, like me being a bit of an introvert, I'm not a fan of people, therefore I am more of a fan of animals.
Thank you.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I think that's as far as I'm going to get.
You did
This
good,
character
Cat. You did very good.
This character that's your idol because you moment I ask that question you just
We
Josh, you're next.
sort of call her now like evil Cassie, just because
just
it makes more sense in context.
Josh,
That's
just
why she's
go.
so scared when I start laughing.
Josh, just go. I already got the answer. I'm gonna wait for you now.
Okay, so
I should have known this was gonna be like this to this entire show, so I gotta get used to this. Go ahead.
you really do need to get used to this shit. My favorite character, of course, is Tobias.
Yes, we all know.
Yeah, that's why I said you all know. Everyone here.
Just a spoiler alert, she made him to a bisexual werewolf in one of her fanfics.
Werewolf? What?
You mixed him in with Twilight.
No, I don't. Fuck no. Fuck no. Shut up. Don't talk about Twilight and Animals in the same damn podcast. How dare you?
Get out.
You would want to put her. You would want to put her him in Avengers.
Yeah, I did. Now we're not going to talk about that because I don't need any rest at the moment. Okay. Okay, let me talk about Tobias, and you can talk about why I need to be arrested later.
I'm not going to bring up that disclosure, but go ahead.
Okay, good. But anyways, Tobias, I liked his whole, like his home life before he became trapped in the body of a hawk. And I believe it's basically confirmed in canon that he did that on purpose. His home life is that he thinks his mom left him and his dad is dead before the series starts. I mean, goddamn. But he gets shelved between his aunt and uncle. His aunt is on the East Coast and his uncle is on the West Coast, and his aunt is more like emotionally abusive, while his uncle seems to be more physically abusive. So of course he would trap himself in the body of a hawk, and his whole outlook towards life and the fact that he's a hawk, that hawk is awesome. Just how he looks at things and how he treats things rather fairly, and his whole viewpoint of seeing the predator and prey relation. He's just, and how he deals with being a hawk. Like, he basically is comfortable with it after book 3, but there's still big moments where he's like, what if I just, left the war effort? And I can relate to him the most, because it's like I can just really easily get into his mindset of how he would look at things, how he would react. And when I role play Animorphs, I really just prefer role playing as him. Just because people will say, I think some people would say I'm probably more, oh God, and with Tobias has a really dry sense of humor. He has a sense of humor, but anyways, people tell me that I'm actually a little bit more like Marco, who's the joker of the group, but his joking, his sarcasm is all basically a coping mechanism.
All right, so we got some information about. She didn't even say excuse me. She just left the scene.
I'm plugging in the laptop. God, I'm not gonna leave this shit.
That's a big plug.
That's what she said.
I have no comment. Okay. Now, all right. So while she's plugging it in, I can get the chance to ask this one question. You guys have your likable characters, of course. What is your character you despise in this entire series?
Oh boy.
I sound like a lot.
No, I just can't really think of one that definitely despise, because the series itself has.
I'm glad how you just hold on, Josh. I know how you just skipped over Cat. I said,
sorry, I'll let Cat answer, but I just like one of the problems with seeing a despise one is that the series does a great job of giving everyone gray morality. Like, no one's fully good or fully bad. So.
Again, I'm like,
okay, Cat, just I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You actually gave me time to think.
Yes, I was helping her.
Let me see.
Ow.
Yeah. I'm thinking of David. I'm thinking of Taylor. I'm thinking of the Arn. I'm thinking of various other characters.
Good. Yeah, the Arn is a race. Okay, just
Jesus.
Yeah.
Each chapter, like, I found this guy. I can't stand this guy.
Oh,
this chapter, I can't stand it.
If we're going for races, fuck Andalites. Except for Axe, Alfangor.
Ableist ones.
Good, yeah. And then, except I sort of like Alran just after he's gone through some, character development. I like him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm trying to remember specific names.
Okay, I can help.
Okay, so being that you guys keep saying that this is an adult novel, even though when I went and got this book, it wasn't in the young adult section, surprisingly. Maybe the teen section is so maybe that's why they changed it. I have to ask, what was the most tragic? It had to have one in the entire series. You can't go in plus.
Can you just say that again? You sort of cut off there.
I mean, out of all that it was released, I think 100 plus books, including the spin-offs.
64 maybe. 64 is definitely not 100.
Including the spin-offs.
If it was 100, I'd be bloody surprised.
Yeah, I think it's like 60 something.
And that includes the spin-offs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, out of all these books that happened, they have to have a death scene that surprised you. What was the death scene? I'm saying death scene as if there was a TV show. What was the most tragic death in the series?
Cat, you mattered.
I know.
Sorry,
Oh
you
my God,
matter.
it's so sad. It's oh God, all the Animorphs fans are tearing up.
2 words. Why is it 2 words with animal?
You
God, 2
matter.
words. You mattered, yeah. The giant
Name?
blue. No, not the name. That was the sentence. God damn, I actually started tearing up. It was the last Rachel's death scene. She was asking the Elmis, basically the giant blue god dick of the Animorphs universe, what did all I ever done actually accomplish? And the Elmis said, "You were brave, you mattered," before she died.
Okay, that's interesting. So that's the only major death scene in the whole entire book.
Oh God, no, Kat. Do you want to expand upon Rachel's death, or choose another character? Oh, good. I'm just gonna cry over here.
I'm composed.
Bullshit. But anyway.
I. God damn it! Wait.
This is as we go closer, it's like you want to talk about, and it's so difficult because it brings so much emotional to you too to talk about this.
I know we're laughing because it hurts.
I'm torn between Elfangor and Arbron.
Oh,
and I don't know which one.
Now we're all talking about Animorphs, right?
Yeah. Arbron dies at the very end of the series, and you don't actually see his death. But yeah, that is you can talk about that death, Kat. Can talk about that death. I can.
He was killed.
These names sound like they come from Star Trek.
Well, Applegate was a Star Trek fan. So, no.
Well, they are aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like somebody I find in Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's so Argon. I'm waiting for a clean to come up in this one. So what was his death that was so impactful, even though they never really seen it? It probably was narrated, I'm pretty sure.
To quote the book, he was shot and killed by poachers.
Yeah. Goddamn. So can you describe what he was? Can you describe what he was before and his importance to the plot, Kat? And so why that senseless death was really fucked up?
Okay, so originally this character Arbron was an Andalite, who are basically blue centaurs.
6.
And then when he morphed into a taxon, which is basically a giant centipede worm thing
that cannibalizes and self-cannibalizes.
Yes.
You gonna let her finish?
Trapped.
Sorry, I'm talking in conjuncture.
He got stuck in that form for the rest of his life. And then near the end of the series, he ended up coming to Earth with the rest of the taxons that he was living with off of the taxon homeworld. And then after the war is won, he and the other taxons got the choice to either live as they were or be given the ability to be turned into snakes for the rest of their lives.
Like big pythons. Yeah.
Sound like a script from Lobster. It's interesting. Josh, you want to go ahead and tell me your most impactful character death in this book?
Well, I mentioned Rachel with you, Matter, just to sort of mess with Kat. Because, yeah, I love myself. I'm a horrible. But anyways, with, I would say, like, first reading the book, Rachel's death, I've sort of read over and it's like, okay. Like, it didn't really make me tear up before. It sort of took a while to sink in, and then, yeah. I'm a horrible person again. But I think one of the death I would choose would be Elfangor, just because that death actually gets worse as the series continues. At first, when you read...
Hold on a second.
Like, you just learn more information about what's going on. What?
They kill him in one book. They kill him again in another book.
No, they don't. You just learn out more information, and it makes the death scene even fucking worse. Like, at first, like in the first book, the horrible death happens. You're like, oh my God, there's this good alien that gave his life for humanity. And like, that makes it sad enough. But then you learn that Alaran, who was the Vischer 3's host, and who was, you know, when you're taken over by you're aware of everything that's going on. So Alaran actually, you know, would remember eating Alfengor alive.
Okay.
And Alaran was like one of the was the teacher of Alfengor for just a little bit, and due to some things, Alfengor made it possible for Vischer 3 to actually infest Alaran. So you have that backstory going on. Then you also learn that
Vischer 3 is a Yeerk, by the way.
Yeah, Vischer 3 is a Yeerk. His real name's Esplin9466, but Vischer 3 is his current rank through the majority of the series. And so then you learn that, you know, Tobias had thought that his father had died and then his mother had left. It turns out that Alfengor, really long story short, was Tobias's father. So the first time Tobias meets his father, he gets eaten alive.
By his father.
Yeah, Tobias's father. So the death just gets worse as you learn more information.
I can see why that made an impact towards you. I had plenty of nightmares to go with that.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, more. Goddamn. That too.
Okay. I guess that then leads me to the next question here, and that question is, what was the chapter that changed everything in the entire series? Kat, first? Second?
In terms of Cassie, I would have to say when she completely changed history, because that shed a whole new light on her.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God, yeah, that's fucked up. Sorry. Can you actually explain that?
Okay.
Because Tuckerly has no goddamn idea about that.
Hold on. This is like, I know I made this like the animal of time. I mean, you guys have your fun because it's fun hearing you guys giggle, laugh, and go back to memory lane here. By the way, I have this on. I ain't pressed the button yet because I don't know how it's gonna react toward the tooth thing. I don't want to cross over, but you sound like one of those sassy black women who heard a juicy gossip on the phone, Josh. Just to let you know, I'm just saying.
God damn. You know, if you weren't black, that would be racist.
I'm just saying because he was like, oh yeah, I forgot that. Oh Lord, John. I mean, Jesus. I mean,
because Cassie is black.
Well, he's talking about me. He's talking about me.
I know.
The emotional excitement that you're getting out of this book. And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure the book there hasn't been a new Animorph series. She just disappeared again. Hasn't been a new Animorph series. Yes, you are. The Animorph show has not came. The Animorph series, whether it's from TV form or novel form, has not been released, and I don't know how long.
Like 2000 or 2001.
And it's still vivid memory. It's still a strong memory in you guys' life. So that tells me that you guys really love this show because you guys cannot wait to talk about this stuff. I want to hear this end time. I'm just letting you know that if you think you're being composed over this, you're just lying to yourself because I can see right here you just can't wait to talk more about this. You just gave me the spot details of one of the questions. So don't tell me you wasn't prepared for this. You was ready for this.
I was not prepared. I don't prepare for shit.
Okay.
I told you, I'm just going off memory.
Okay.
Going off memory, right?
Kat, talk about the messed up Cassie changing time.
Yeah, she did some Doctor Who stuff, so go ahead and explain this.
Okay. I believe it's one of the Megamorphs books. Am I right
Yeah,
with that?
third one in the Megamorphs 3.
Okay, yes. Okay, so it's Megamorphs 3. Basically, there's this giant orb, and my brain is doing a
Time
blank.
Matrix.
What?
Time Matrix.
Time Matrix,
And
thank you.
Vischer 4 had decided that he needed to get back up in rank, so he's decided to try to use the Time Matrix to make the Yeerk invasion of Earth easier, or something like that.
Yeah. And basically, the team jump around through different time periods to try and catch him. Which is really good for teaching people like me about the Battle of the Delaware or some such, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Crossing of the Delaware. George Washington.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So
and basically,
I'm gonna take
when
again that this is
they
pretty much
finally catch up to
historical
him.
fiction now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was. Like, it was time travel, and so, yeah, it was historical fiction.
Okay.
Yeah,
Continue. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay. And eventually they jump to a point where they catch up with him in World War II, where Hitler is not in charge.
Oh, yeah. He's a little bus
fine,
driver, cab driver.
Yeah. And then Cassie, after like a bunch of deliberation, is the one to say, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this guy by making sure his parents never met. And she actually does that.
Yeah. So yeah, she erases someone from time from ever existing.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this caused a lot of controversy in
Not
the
really.
adult novel.
I don't remember that. It wasn't really a part of the Amherst fandom when the series was being released, so I don't know, but it happened.
I'm only thinking again that it's somebody fixed time when they actually stopped Cassie from doing that.
No, they Cassie did that so that Vischer 4 would never look for the time matrix, and therefore would never mess up time in the first place.
Oh, okay. So Fisher died. All right.
Well, yeah, basically.
Somebody died in that storyline.
It just seems more like a Rachel thing to do, though, not Cassie.
Yeah, because Cassie is this pacifist.
Who gets people to stop not the one who gets people to stop fighting and doesn't want to cause people harm.
Yeah, just fucking erases a guy from time. Oh, God. My girl.
Your turn.
Wow. Okay, what was the question again?
What was the chapter that changed your life?
Oh, God, I don't know if there was any...
Changed the entire series. That's basically what it was.
The Animal series changed my life, but one that gave a new look at the series. I think I'm going to have it be a tie between two parts. So up to book 13 of this main series, the Hork-Bajir just look deadly. So the assumption is that these Hork-Bajir are just monsters. You know, they eat meat. They're deadly, and that's why the Yeerks took control of them as their main force. But it turns out that the Hork-Bajir were just pacifists. Like, they didn't really understand the concept of war until, long story short, they got involved in the Yeerk War. And so just finding out that these big, ferocious creatures are extremely docile and they eat wood just makes you rethink how you were looking at them before. And
Oh, and the taxons.
Oh, the Texans. Yeah, we can. I'm just going to do the Yerks, and with Texans.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That's. We did an episode on the Texans on With Extra Happy, so yeah.
We went from.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, the Yerks. So up until book 19 in the main series, you look at the Yerks as these evil creatures that are hell-bent on infesting everyone in the galaxy and making sure they control everything. And you come to find out that that's not the case. Like, there are some Yerks like that, like Vischer 3, but there are also Yerks that just continue with the status quo because they know no other way. Like, there's some that haven't been shown anything else, so they might not really like it, but they go ahead and follow what everyone else is doing just because they have no other viewpoint to go through. And so to see what you've been considering as the big bad this whole time to be more complicated, just know that this whole thing between good and evil isn't really between good and evil. It's really deep, especially for a young adult series.
Well, that's so interesting. It sounds like it's more complexity than I actually expected. Now, since I got two ladies here, how am I answering this one question? There's chapters that change the series, deaths, what got into it. You cannot tell me. I don't care how old you were. I don't care how old you are now. Because you didn't have
30.
this fantasy. You said it, not me. Still trying to get on the show. What is the one character that you visualize having a date with?
Tobias.
For you know what I mean?
Yeah, Tobias.
Jesus Christ. All right.
We're both Tobias girls. We're going to get some shirts and some memorabilia around that.
Yep. This girl loves her hawk.
So anyway.
I thought you said something else, but I actually had to stop them at the register, right? But no,
I
but
am
I
the
said,
most innocent person around. I will never say anything intentionally dirty.
What?
sure.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't do sexual dirty.
Okay, now that's why I said I have to cut the ask myself there. Now, because that was the most easiest question. This is the question I always like to ask because I always say that the one thing that people always seem to think that don't have the influence on, but it does. What's the best book cover design in the whole entire series that you absolutely love?
Okay.
If you actually can remember it.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember all the goddamn covers. Yeah,
I actually have the covers on my computer. Give me a minute.
Okay.
She can't prepare for that one.
I know exactly the cover I love. So
here's my favorite memory of the cover. You have, you see this person, or it seems to be the opposite. You see this animal, and it seems to be slowly transforming into a person, whether it's male or female. That seemed to be the only true cover to the Animal series. It's nothing else but that cover. So,
hang on, I'm going to open your mind.
Oh
boy.
Why? Why the fuck do I get those reactions? God.
I didn't say anything negative.
I know. I just heard some judgmental tones there. Shove it. Shove it, evil Cassie. God damn it, close the bookmark. Shove it!
You shove it!
You shove it!
You flippin' shove it!
Okay. Okay, good. I was looking for a picture that showed the front and back cover of the book. Yeah, so hands down my favorite. God damn it. Come on, copy paste. Copy paste. Do you not?
I don't think you can.
But yeah, there's a. Yeah, that's my favorite cover, hands down. The Hork-Bajir Chronicles, both the front and back cover. It's
Let me
just
see
the
this. You
most
gave it
beautiful
a
art design.
I'm looking into it now. Let me see what this. Please redirect to me now.
I did the group chat, so.
Oh, this is something different.
Yeah, that's the
How many
Hork-Bajir
spin-offs
Chronicles.
did they had? How many spin-offs did they had?
They had Megmorphs 1, 2, 3, 4. The chronicles that go talk about the history of some of the characters. They had the Andalite Chronicles that talks about Alfengar's backstory. They have the Hork-Bajir Chronicles that talks about how the Hork-Bajir got involved with the Yeerk-Andalite War. They have Visher that was originally supposed to be equally about Visher 1 and 3, and so they decided to put Visher 3's host on the cover, but it ended up turning out to be more about Visher 1 and how she started the Yeerk invasion of Earth. And then they have the Elmas Chronicles, which is the backstory of the Elmas, aka the giant blue god dick. Should fucking die, really. That's fine.
All right, Kat. What's your favorite one? Do you have a link that I can look at it? Or you won't be able to?
No, because I'm.
I can Google
so
it.
I can't really do anything.
Okay, I can Google it.
You can Google it though.
I'll Google it and paste it.
What's your favorite cover though? I'm curious. What's your favorite cover though?
Hang on, I am having a look-see through my my collection. I almost want to say 4 because of how nostalgic it is.
Okay.
But
Let me get that one up.
Okay.
Hang on. Continue saying.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stall for time until I find one.
Just talk about it. It's Cassie turning into Dolphin.
Yes. One of my favorites that I just came across is the Megamorphs 1 cover where it has them split down the middle, like half human, half whatever.
Oh yeah, that was Goddamn, Cassie has a fly. Cool. Okay, I'm showing this one. Getting this one. Let's see.
Although I do like The Secret as well. Number what is it? 9.
9.
Because she's turning.
I'm gonna look at the link now.
Why am I?
Just let me see what these covers look like from here. Give me a little education. I've seen this one. I don't think this character was in the TV series though.
Oh, all those main ones. Oh, are you talking about the Hork-Bajir Chronicles or any one?
The original. She just showed me the original. The Messenger. The Messenger.
The Message.
The Messenger book called. All right. I was thinking about Norvalk. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay.
Let me see what the other one looks like. As soon as I can get a hold of it. You gave me 3, so
yeah.
Make sure I don't confuse them all.
Yeah, I made sure to write words or numbers to have a little line break, so you can definitely make sure that.
They already disappeared. I don't know why this happened. Okay, I'm looking at it now. One title, the Megamorph Chronicles.
Not Megamorphs. Megamorphs.
This one, it has a picture of a bird and a portrait of 4 Animorph characters, right?
Yep.
Berg. Why are they gonna make the brother look like a mosquito? That's a shame. You got everyone. You got this guy as a tiger. You got this girl as a wolf. You got this girl as a grizzly bear. You got the brother as a mosquito. Oh, come on, man.
So are you called Marco a girl?
Let me see what the third one is. Let me see what this third one looks like. I thought they're good covers. I actually like them. I mean, they are captivating. This one I actually like. The Animorph, The Secret.
Yeah.
I also like number 29, The Sickness, because it shows a Yeerk.
Oh, okay, really hang on.
Big Yeerk.
Let me get the Sickness up.
Okay.
In case whoever's watching this, um, there is links on the side on the group chat. So if you look at the group chat, you will see all the links
Can
there. You
actual
can just click.
casual viewers actually see the group chat?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Because I don't know how to do it on tablet.
Yeah. I forgot how to. The group chat. There's a button called chat. If they press the chat, it'll appear, and they can just leave comments. So I might go for all of this. I might do two more. I think I just did this one. Let me see if this one I just seen. Yeah, I just seen that one. So I gotta. This one came from. I don't know why Amazon is. Amazon. I guess it's still in print because Amazon is involved in it. So I guess I can still got it. I can get it in print. The sickness. Okay, there we go.
I
Let
know
me see what this looks like.
with God damn
Oh,
it.
this I didn't see.
With the main series, they have some in ebook format on Amazon.
This is number 29 for Galactics. And I'm gonna be very straight up. It does. And I'm looking at this. I notice there's a connection between this character and the other character. Can they morph into multiple animals, multiple creatures?
They can morph into different animals. They acquire an animal, its DNA, and then forever that animal's DNA is in them, and they can morph into it. But they can't morph from, say, a tiger directly into an elephant. They'll need to demorph to a human and then morph into an elephant.
So it's not just they're not grounded to just one animal. They can there's
correct.
no rule on that.
Not unless you stay over the 2-hour time limit.
Which Tobias
you
found
stay-
out.
Yeah. If
Oh,
you
so
stay
wait, you-
in that form for 2 hours, you're stuck. Forever.
And you're called an ocelot.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, it has a fallback of if you stay on that creature longer than you expected. That's it.
Yeah, there's some other drawbacks too, but that would take some time. Talk about.
Wow. That's horrible. I'm sorry. You just 2 hours. Wait, I'm ready. I'm gonna change back. No, you can't. Why? Because you exceed the time limit.
Yeah.
Oh, these are good covers. These are very, very good covers. I actually like the covers. Again, I didn't know about the other series until you brought it up. I just thought it was
It's
one
not
of
really
the
another
ones.
series. It's just extra material. Some of the bonus books are more heavily connected into the series than others. Like sometimes with reading through the series, you can read these extra books at different places, and other times it needs to be read at this point or that point in the series.
All right, so I'm learning a lot here. Here's the thing. Did reading these books change your view on literature, or were you even involved in reading as much until you came across these books?
I wasn't really involved with reading until Animorphs, so yeah.
I didn't really do anything.
Say, what about you,
but
Kat?
read. I didn't really do anything but read when I was into this, so this just gave me more stuff to read.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And I guess the question is, how did it impact your guys' personalities now?
Oh God, I need therapy. Therapy, God.
I think I gained more of a love for animals by being Cassie, but I kind of learned how to be a bit more violent-minded through Rachel and more depressed through Tobias.
All right, so Josh, you've been quiet about that one.
She's busy.
I'm kind of curious.
Okay, how did it change me? I was allowing her to answer so I have time of replying to something else, but yeah, I don't know how much I would say it changed me just because I started reading the book series when I was 9 or 10, so I didn't really have a long enough history before the series started. I will say that it was written in first person point of view, and I think that's probably influenced the reason why I decided to only write in first person point of view, because my favorite series, the series I started off with, was all in first person. So I actually started off with more of a comprehension of the point of view than other people did.
So I get the feeling that you're not a big fan of the storyteller point of view.
No, I like first. I don't mind it being written in other points of view, but I can't write. But I can only really write in first person point of view.
Okay.
I try in other
that
points of
makes
view,
sense.
it's crap.
So I guess we had to go to the ones you guys don't like, and it's not the books. Nickelodeon's
Oh, fuck you.
TV.
Sorry. I have very strong opinions.
I'm gonna let Kat talk about it first, because I have already idea how you feel about the TV series, but I never really heard Kat's opinion. I don't even think she has Nickelodeon in the UK, so but I'm pretty sure
I
she's
actually
aware of the
watched
TV
it
show.
all online and on tapes that we got in our little shop called Poundland, which is how I found out that Animorphs and Goosebumps were a TV show and on tape. But I haven't watched the TV show in about I want to say at least half a decade, because I don't think they're available on the internet anymore. But I have watched the entire series, I'm pretty sure. And I just remember not being very impressed by it once it was over, because it just kind of seemed to just end and kind of fall on its face and not get up and
Hold on, it's the first scene. Sorry, I'm just very strong.
It got canceled, I think, after season 1.
No, it actually lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I only watched one episode.
Yeah. It really
I already know what
didn't do very well though. I think people on YouTube could do a better job.
Oh,
honestly.
fuck yeah. I could, with a couple little stick figures, I could do a bare damn job.
So I'm gonna take a gander, because it was Nickelodeon. They watered down a lot of stuff.
Yes! Sorry.
Nobody died in the TV series.
Oh, they had Elfinger's death. You know, it wasn't as bloody as in the book, but it was still enough.
Okay, it felt like the Power Rangers. It came out during that time.
I never. Kat, did you watch the Power Rangers?
Sort of. It was kind of like an episode of every other Sunday when I managed to catch it, but I didn't really know what it was about. So.
Don't worry, neither did anybody else was watching at the time. You're right. Trust me, I still don't understand how it's 20 years, 30 years. I don't know how long it's been around. It's been around a long time, and it's still they running out of names. They show up with the Ninja Force after calling it Ninja Stars, and after calling Ninja other things. After a while, you just stop making them Power Rangers TV show. Yeah, obviously, both of you guys are not the fans of the TV show. But here's the question: now with Netflix, Amazon Prime, AT&T Stream, and whatever other new Hulu, whatever, and even with YouTube, how if they would decide to reboot it, would you go with that type of mainstream? Would you keep it as a made for cable? And would you think it should be based solely on the books, or do a whole new series that doesn't rely on the book? Take it to an older level.
No, it needs to rely on the books.
On the books,
damn it. Goddamn, but yeah. I think as long as they make it for adults, like there are some gruesome stuff, and some of it's held back by being a young adult series. Like, none of the Animorphs cuss. Like, we keep on seeing genocide after genocide after genocide. We can see family members killing family members, but we can't read the word fuck because that will destroy us more than that Anthmorph scene.
So you would how will you go Hunger Games stream, or would you just be basically go? I'll just throw something out there. The Tick's theme, be dark, but also have some humor in it. And
yeah, there needs to be dark, and it's dark, but there is definitely some humor that needs to be kept. What would you go for?
She's like,
Kat, answer. We need your words of wisdom.
I would answer, but he keeps breaking up, and I'm not catching up with him.
Oh, shit.
Okay, here I'll say it again.
Question?
Is how dark are you willing to go? Will you go Hunger Games dark, or will you go dark but keep some of the humor like the Tick? I know you don't know what the Tick is. I understand, but
I would just keep it as dark as the books, because that's how it was originally shown. I think that's how it should stay, and that's what I want to try and do if I adapt it into an audio play series. I do intend to do that, and I want to keep it as true to the series as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it's safe to say you start with book 1 and go for there. Is there any changes that they need to make? And it's very interesting. Is there any changes that they want to make? Because eventually they're going to change something.
Yeah, well, one thing, this would be a good opportunity for them to fix some plot holes. Like in the first book, Thought Speak works one way, and then you get to book 2 and it works a different way. We have the Yeerks invading the Andalite homeworld, and then suddenly that gets lost. It just goes away.
Okay.
What would you change?
I guess the question is, who you have faith to actually pull this off? Because you have to have not just the actors, which will be young actors. That's why I'm not going to even go near the actors thing, the same casting couch. But what studio you feel? Because obviously you don't want Paramount touching it, aka Nickelodeon.
Fuck no, Nickelodeon.
What studio you think would be best that will pull it off? I'm gonna give you my feeling of what studio I think will do a great job, and I know it's gonna probably surprise you. But what studio do you guys feel that they should take that reign?
I'm trying to think of the studios and directors that I know, because I'm thinking that the darkest person I know is Del Toro, and I think that might actually be a tad too dark, but might kind of work.
I think Del Toro could definitely work. He does some lighter stuff, and I think he can sort of interject some humor into it. But he definitely can go for the darker aspects of the series.
All right, Josh, what are you
let
feeling?
him work on the dark aspects and get someone else in for the science, the sci-fi stuff.
There's some it's very light sci-fi at times. Like the Yeerks, no way could a Yeerk go from the ear to the brain. That the connection just doesn't work. And when I found that out, childhood ruined.
How are we going to fix that then?
So I'm assuming that you'd rather have Warner Brothers take over the reign.
I don't know. With goddamn it, if I had to choose a director, I would actually go with Joss Whedon, because he definitely has the handle of going dark but still keeping things humorous. He can definitely balance those two aspects of the series, so that's not a point where it seems conflicting. I'm
gonna say this.
A studio, I wouldn't know an actual studio, really. I mean, if we're going for HBO or Netflix, I can say my opinion on that, but an actual studio, it's not there.
I'm just gonna go out and say it. I just think that the studio, I feel, that can do a good job as long as he's behind the director's chair, or or in production. I think there's two people that you got to put in production for this. If you're gonna make it a darker TV series, I think you have to have the following: Christopher Nolan and J.J. Abrams as the two.
Christopher Nolan?
Christopher Nolan and J.J. Abrams.
Okay, yeah, J.J. Abrams is awesome, yeah.
And
Because,
Christopher Nolan did
I
like
think-
Dark Knight, right?
Yeah, he did
Yeah, he
Dark
did
Knight, Inception.
I think in terms of visual, giving the visual feel for the animal the way it's supposed to be done, I think can do the job. The only other person I feel can do the job and do it wisely, minus the 3D, because I think he's the one I'm real ticked off. That's the only reason why I'm ticked off with him. The 3D is James Cameron, but he's too good.
I don't really trust James Cameron around shit anymore. Since Avatar, I just no.
He's making 2 more Avatar films.
Okay.
Give the man a break.
I'm sorry, I just don't really trust him anymore. I'm sorry, like the guy who did Terminator 2, and The Abyss. Yeah, I trust that guy. That
Okay, but in any case, I feel that you got to have a visionary director. I think you have to have a team of good writers. That's why I say when I say Christopher Nolan, his visionary will be perfect. J.J. Abrams, he knows how to really direct actors and actors. I think those two combined will do a good job. If you want to go with a more lighter tone, I know people will say Disney, but surprisingly enough, if you're going to go for a TV series tone, I wouldn't mind, especially now since they stepped up their game of late, I wouldn't mind having Sci-Fi take over their reign. I think Sci-Fi will do a pretty good job with the show.
I'm just the visual quality, like the visual qualities, and I know what they can get away with. I mean, if you're going for a channel you don't have to pay for, I would go with AMC. I would go with FX or Fox. But the thing is, sci-fi shows don't last long there. That's sort of where they got to die.
Well, wait a minute. They have a good, Battlestar Galactica lasted a good long time.
I know, but there's been more instances of Terminator, Firefly, Fringe.
Now wait a minute, hold on.
They needed longer runs, and then they were fucking.
Yeah. Those were Fox shows put on Sci-Fi. You do know that, right?
I know that Fringe was aired.
She does now.
No, I know that Fringe was aired on Fox. I know that.
Yeah. Keep in mind, Sci-Fi had the rights to Heroes, and it was on NBC. They can do the show. It's just they have to have the right people in it. I don't know. I don't know how Krypton is going to be.
I'm going to stop with the sci-fi thing, but I know Hannibal. That was aired on NBC, even though they didn't really own the rights. But because NBC canceled that show, the Hannibal cast and crew had to wait a while before they could even have talks about another channel picking them up. So that's the thing. You have to choose the right channel to even air it so that, it will keep on running.
That's the thing. I think that I can't see with Animal. I can't see NBC. CBS is not going to have a direct competition with Star Trek. They're trying to reboot that series. And I don't know how that series is going to run. But if you're going to have a show that's going to be because it's sci-fi. It could be, for a book, yeah, it's young adults, teen novel, but it's still sci-fi. All right? You need to have it where it's going to cater not just to the fans of the book. You need to have it to cater to the sci-fi fans who are going to love and appreciate that type of storytelling. That's why it needs to be done right. The only other place I can see it existing, honestly, is one of the stream channels. That will be a huge pickup for the streaming channels. Netflix can will have a ball with that. Amazon Prime. If Amazon want to make a statement, they can pick this up and market the same with the Tick.
Yeah,
the Tick is a huge
hit. Problems with even if we got the right team and we got the right channel, we have to think that these are, teenagers finding war and going through this horrific thing, and so they might need to actually up the age of the characters just so they can actually show the gore, show the darkness of the series, even though those of us who grew up with the series are okay with, the children find the war, because that's really one of the darker aspects of it. These children don't get a childhood. So
Well, here's the thing. Like I said before, I will, if I was doing a series, I would just basically go with, basically a standalone series. Recognize the events that happened in the novel, and then something happened that brought some of the surviving members back, or basically do what happened afterwards.
Oh God, what
If that
happened
was the case.
afterwards? Yeah, if you want a York invasion of Earth, I would say, and to get a good high rating, you would need and to draw in new viewers, you would have to, one, increase age of the characters, and two, make it set in modern day, so that people who didn't grow up in the 90s and don't care for the 90s, aren't put off by that. And having older actors, older characters would make it so that they could do more shit without people feeling disturbed.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kat, you've been quiet. I want to hear your feeling on what I just said.
But your wise words of wisdom are needed.
Oh, sorry, what for?
What's your feeling on what I said?
I'm not going to disagree, because I don't really have anything better to suggest at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I spoke too much in that conversation.
Yeah, you did.
But that's my feeling on it. But I'm kind of happy we had this this great podcast about this, because it is something that I know that you two absolutely love, and I know that it's going to be snuck in again in our other conversations, no matter how much I try not to have that on the conversation. You like, I got a daydream about Tobias. Hurry up.
No, oh God, yeah, I'll daydream about Tobias.
Yep.
Oh God, okay.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I have to bring these up because we are on a time where I'm not going to keep this on for 2.5 hours, like I did the last show almost. But
yeah.
we do have some stories that we got to confirm here, and some stories that I'm kind of shaking my head. I'm gonna see if I can find it since we're talking about it. But it has been confirmed by 1010 Wins. In case you don't know what that is, Kat, that's a news radio program on my radio. They confirmed that it will be film. And guess who's starring it? Jamie Lee Curtis, the person who starred in the original Halloween film. Now, it doesn't bother me that they killed off a character in Halloween Resurrection. In my opinion, the perfect waste of time of a Halloween film. Come here.
No, you don't have to worry. God.
Oh, come here. Animal is almost... Reb, come in here.
Hello.
Come in here, Reb. Tell Reb to come in here.
No, that's just when the alarms went off as soon as he... No, you weren't just being all polite about, not interrupting. So you left before I could say anything.
Tell Reb to come here, because I want his opinion on this.
Oh, I'm using the... Okay, dude. Okay, you want to ask Reb something?
Yes.
Okay.
Where'd the fucking thing go?
I can hear you, Reb, and so does the audience. Just keep that in mind.
Hello?
How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Aaron broke my Bluetooth, but...
Okay.
Yeah, but
I got to ask you a question here, because we will be doing some movie updates.
okay.
Are you aware there's a new Halloween film being made?
I didn't know they're making another Halloween film.
Starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Starring Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay.
Yes.
And what's the plot line behind this? Do we know yet?
Well, the original director is supposed to be directing the film.
The original director's supposed to be filming it?
Yep.
Okay, well that has some...
This was announced Now, where are you at? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sitting here. I got Bluetooth
Okay.
on, so half of
Okay.
Bluetooth.
I'll wait till you fix that a little bit. But here's the thing, Josh. Before you caught our attention,
Okay.
I'm concerned about this because it says, and I quote, "This is the very last Halloween movie
Okay.
at time." So I'll wait until.
Oh, stupid dog. Sorry about that. Tinkerbell, nobody likes you.
I'm not concerned about the fact they killed off a character in Halloween Resurrection. I said that's the waste of time of a Halloween film that basically put the final nail in the coffin in the original series. I'm not even mad at the fact they may not even acknowledge the rebooted versions with Ron Zombie.
I kind of
It
like
is what
the
it is.
Rob Zombie ones a little bit. I think I liked them because they were just darker films. And one thing I found very funny is that in the first Rob Zombie film, the girl from the first one, who's in the second one as well, was in her 30s. She was not a teenager, okay? And I don't know if people realize who she is, but have you ever seen a movie called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Yeah.
That's the daughter
Yeah,
from
I
that
did.
movie, the younger daughter. And she looks exactly the same age. She's been playing a 15, 16-year-old for 3 decades. But
Yeah.
I kind of liked the Rob Zombie ones to a point where it was we really did. I liked it mainly because I found out what happened originally. That's the part I really
Yeah.
liked.
But,
And Rob Zombie making
I
everything
actually
comic book style was a very, very dark film, but we didn't really need it.
yeah, and that's the thing. I like the first one. I thought I thought if you're gonna remake something, remake it something different. I think
Yeah.
he went nuts because Ron Zombie's Ron Zombie, and
Yeah.
he tends to be a little bit on the psychotic slasher side. But I like the
Yes,
first
he
one.
loves slasher film. I mean, that's obvious from all his films. And he was a diehard fan of Halloween. And he wanted to make sure it was dark as possible as he could make it, in his style, lots of blood. He was, it was interesting, but it still carried on it wasn't like it was a complete remake. I mean, it was a complete remake, but I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say here. But carried on the spirit of the films. You know, it honored them, I thought, pretty damn well, as best you could. I mean, the problem is that before he made that movie, there were 100 Halloween films. And he was just trying to get the younger, newer audience involved and the older audience to see something, like especially his fans. I'm a fan of his music and his videos that he's made for years, and all of his movies I thought are quite interesting films. But I don't know if I want another Halloween movie, to be honest.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the one when I heard about it. I'm like, okay, they're making this big announcement, but here's the thing. Halloween 3D, which was actually supposed to be Ron Zombie's third chapter in the Halloween series, got canned because of such poor reviews from both critics and fans. And after when I finally saw the film, it was easy to see why. He went completely crazy with that film, to the extreme in that film. But in any case, it was talked about it and shelved and talked about it and shelved. And finally, last year, they said they were going to pursue. And I said, oh, okay. But then I heard some other stuff about it. It's not going to continue that timeline. It's actually going to go back to the timeline via Halloween Resurrection. My problem is, why? It's too late.
That's what happens when movies get shelved. Occasionally it works out, but for the most part, it ruins the movie. It gets redone and redone. It gets revamped, rewritten. Changes directors, changes producers, changes actors in and out as time goes on. And by the time it finally comes out, actors don't really want to trust signing on to it because they keep canning them before. So they're just wasting their time when they could have been doing another project. And usually by the time they get to this point, they don't get the budget you would think they would get because it's hard to get backers because it's been so unreliable in the past of them trying to make it. And
you're crisscrossing. Okay, you want to go, and he wants to go back to what made Halloween famous. Fine, but here the thing is, in my personal opinion, the series truly ended with Halloween 2. Okay?
I would have been done. I would have been good with just 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, to me, it ended with 2. All right? He died in 2. All right? And he wanted to do, Season of the Witch, which I thought was a good movie. It just should never have been called Halloween 3. But that's a whole different story for another time. Came Return of Michael Myers, and it wasn't the same. I find 4 and 5 boring.
One thing about Halloween is where I live right now. There used to be a kid who lived across the street. He was obsessed with Jamie Lee Curtis because of Halloween. He had every VHS, and this is a while ago, I know I'm old, of Halloween, and then he had the laser discs of them, again showing how old I am. And, I've seen the original Halloween so many times. And then when they finally started making them again in theaters, he drug us to that. And I felt that I was tired of Halloween. I did not care for the newer films that came out after, the long period of no Halloween movies, which is where I think she was in the sane asylum or something she got locked up in, or stuck in the sane asylum near the end of it. I don't even remember the whole movie anymore, but I just thought, I don't like it. And the only entertaining thing about seeing that movie was the movie theater would periodically throughout the movie, a guy dressed like Michael Myers would be hiding on the side of the theaters or in the audience, and you would wait for a light point in the screen where you could see him to give a little thrill. I thought it was funny, but
that's probably the only memorable thing you remember about that movie.
The only thing I remember about it, honestly. I remember that and an ambulance and a mental asylum, and that's it. I don't remember the actresses. I think Jamie Lee Curtis might have been in it. I don't know. I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah, that was H2O. That was the follow to H2O. That's Resurrection where they killed her off. And I'm like this. Okay, are you going to explain how she managed to survive being stabbed and falling into the tree? I'm kind of curious how they're going to do this, but it was confirmed that she signed on. I'm kind of surprised because to me, from what I heard, she got sick of being in a Halloween film, and she was mad that they that they even made another Halloween film. And I'm like, why did you make another Halloween?
That's all she's known for, really. I mean, that's her biggest tagline. I mean, it's kind of like Sigourney Weaver. When I say Sigourney Weaver, what do you think of?
Oh, it's right. Aliens.
And now keep in mind, that launched her career. The only other thing that comes to mind after I think of all the aliens is Ghostbusters. Other than that, that's what she gets known for, and it's hard to get away from it. So.
Well, Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, I'm surprised because she hasn't made a film in a while. I mean, she has been on TV shows, on the Screen Queen, and she's done a lot of stuff. But to me,
she's retired. She stopped making movies like a lot of female actresses do to raise her daughter. And her daughter went off to college around the time those Activia commercials came out. And it's just like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. So they stopped acting to raise their kids. And then when they got to a certain age, Kurt started making some movies, which you've seen him every year make one. I just
find it very weird.
It is weird. I mean, but they have lives, they have children. They don't want to be their kids end up screwed up like a lot of Hollywood kids.
I'm just talking about this franchise. Like, look.
Oh yeah.
To me, why make another one? When I heard they make another Halloween, and it was they tagline it is the final Halloween. Yeah, okay. If this makes money,
you're gonna make another one. Yeah. I mean, it's like Aliens. I mean, they're still making Aliens movies. Luckily, they're good because they got the director back, and it's.
I don't know about that because the people are not happy with Covenant.
Covenant wasn't all that I was hoping it to be. It wasn't terrible. I would have liked to have seen an IMAX 3D. It was still a decent movie. It felt really quick though. Unlike the one before that, with Prometheus. I love Prometheus. That movie seemed like it was long and you got your money's worth for it. Covenant was a little rushed, and the ending is still a little. I got mixed feelings about the ending of it, but.
We can go for a whole topic. A lot of people I felt was disappointed. They felt it was the same film that you just did the last time and didn't learn from your lesson the last time.
Right.
So that's a whole different story. But I want to get your take on
more about that. But I'm seeing Halloween is like
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's going to become Spider-Man, where all right, we rebooted it. Okay, we rebooted it. I didn't even realize they rebooted it the third time. I thought it was still the same guy, and I'm like, does anybody really
Because they
want
made the
these?
same mistake. That's what.
Yeah, it's like
Making the
I
same
haven't even
mistake.
seen any of them. I've watched up to the one with Venom in it with the original actor,
Tobey Maguire.
and that
Tobey
was it.
Maguire.
I saw a little bit of the one that came after that had Dennis Leary. I saw the ending. That's all I've ever seen of that movie, and that's it. And
You missed a whole lot, man.
I probably have, but I'm so sick of Spider-Man. That's the problem. And then in Avengers, it took me a while, up until maybe a month ago, to realize that was a different actor in Avengers playing Spider-Man. And they're like, oh, yeah, they launched it again. I'm like, why?
We can get to that whole story. Yeah, that's a whole story by itself. But I want to get your take on that. Oh, by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger has signed on for a new Terminator film.
Oh, yes. Who's making it?
After it was shelved. I don't know what the comps of it. They keep it a secret. But the original director from Terminator, who did the Terminator, is actually doing this one. So I'm kind of curious of how he's going to.
Who's directing this one?
So the person who directed the first two.
Oh, okay.
James Cameron.
So Cameron, okay. Yeah, that makes sense because the people that bought it to make the Genesis only bought the licensing for a couple of years. And after they fucked up and they put a huge spoiler in the trailer, nobody went to see it. And they released it on the 4th of July. Why would you do that? Nobody went to the movie theaters. Because we went to see it, and there was nobody there. And I would say if I didn't know the spoiler of the movie, that would have been a great movie. Because overall, Elson, knowing that, it was an awesome movie, I thought. It was a cool story, cool cast, interesting concept, looked beautiful, a lot of twists, and all I could think at the end of it is, I want another one. But it didn't make any money. So,
well, I'm hoping that they can. Because here's the thing: I'm getting sick and tired of them running around Los Angeles. Could you please change it up?
Change it. Oh, they have it. Yeah. Well, was it Terminator 3 was at a few different places, but that wasn't a good thing. I know it was the same thing. Just, I'm finding though movies are being shot in different locations as California has become too expensive, and the same thing, people are tired of it. They shoot a lot of movies in Canada and in Wisconsin, and and just really odd place. Georgia is a big place. I mean, not just because of The Walking Dead is out there, and there's all kinds of stuff, facilities out there now. But if they don't shoot it in Canada or Georgia or in places like that, they're going to shoot them in England and Ireland and stuff like that, where it's way cheaper to make a movie. I mean,
hear that, Cat?
Yeah, Cat. I didn't know you were there, Cat. Sorry. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, there's lots of open space out there, and the British studios are always wanting us to come there because they don't quite have the same kind of quality action movies and stuff we have, for whatever reason.
They make a lot of action films, though.
They do, but I mean, a lot of things I find about British television, sorry, Kat, is the shows are cheesy. Like,
we're weird.
I mean, I'm not going to count Doctor Who. I get it. People like that. It's cheesy. I get that. But I watched that. What was that show that I liked? The ghost, the vampire, and the werewolf living together.
Only Human, I think.
Yeah, I love the British version of that. But I was like, that
there's an American version of this?
There is. Don't watch it. Please don't watch it. Do not ruin it and watch it.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I watched part of the beginning episode and I was like, nope, fuck it. No, not doing this shit. Bullshit. Actors were terrible. It was exactly the same first episode, word for word almost.
Oh dear.
It's kind of like when they made American
so
it's the same exact version.
Are you saying it's not like Steptoe and Son, a.k.a. Sanford and Son?
I've never watched any of that. I couldn't tell you. They're old shows that they remade, Sanford and Son and stuff. I've never seen those, and I'm good without watching them. I've seen a little bit of Sanford and Son back in the day when I was a big Nick at Night kid. But most of my favorite shows are black and white or early color television shows. My favorite television show of all time is Dragnet when it went color because it was the hippie era. And you got the sleepers, the uppers, the downers, the glutes. Yeah, it was just a great time in television.
You never watched it? You never watched the Avengers? That's a British show.
Is it?
Yeah, Avengers.
No.
Avengers. I'm not talking about the ones that Marvel. I'm talking about the original Avengers. The guy with the top with the bowler hat.
No, I never heard
I
that.
did not know that. I will have to ask my dad about
I didn't know it either.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's Avengers.
Okay.
That movie
believe
with
you.
Sean Connery. There was a show called.
I remember a movie with Sean Connery.
That guy.
Yeah. Okay.
That was horrible. We don't count that. Don't count. Watch the TV series. It's excellent. It lasted almost 15 years.
Once we move into our house, hopefully before the end of the year, I'm gonna get to catch up on a lot of weird shows. I think.
All right. Here's a question that you probably didn't know was in development and is getting more momentum. Now it doesn't guarantee it's going to happen, but it is something that is being talked about. And then with one show that I'm not watching. I refuse to watch this.
Okay.
I don't care what the name of it. There is momentum to restart the Freddy versus Jason franchise.
No, don't.
What?
Now you know. Now.
Go hit the face part. We can hang on that. Sorry, we got all kinds of weather alerts, flood warnings out here going on the weather radios.
I guess you didn't like the Jason Freddy reboots.
Which one?
Both of them.
How about the one in space? Yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, to be honest
the only
with
thing
you,
I'm interested in Jason is the Jason video game that somebody has made.
That's a good game.
I want to play that. I don't know if they make it for a console, but if it does, I want to buy that. And I'm in need of a new game.
You don't seem too eager to see Freddy and Jason have their own little universe featuring Ash from Evil Dead. You wouldn't watch that?
Ash is going to be there?
Keep in mind, that was
Ash vs. Evil Dead is going to be there.
Keep in mind, he was supposed to be in the sequel that never came out. They had that in concept. Yeah,
I would have paid to see that.
So it's floating around. It may happen. They want to reboot the Freddy from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They also want to reboot the Friday 13th series. They want to have their own universe with these two iconic slasher films. They are watching the scope, as they say. They're playing with the idea. They definitely want to reboot those two iconic franchises. The question is when, how, and who's going to play them is still up for grabs. And finally, for the update, guys, if you guys don't know, if you guys are a big Law and Order fan, there's something new coming out, and I don't know why they even put the name Law and Order on this poster. I looked at this and I couldn't believe this. Now, the course of years, we had Law and Order SVU, which still is running, and I've just gotten tired of seeing SVU because it's the same old.
Yeah.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. We also have the two failed Law and Orders, which is Law and Order Los Angeles, which I don't think anybody heard about, and Law and Order Trial by Jury. Now the UK has Law and Order UK, which is Law and Order, but in the United Kingdom. I don't know if that's still airing or not, but they do have DVD seasons in the US region. So yes, there is the UK version. Is weird because I just can't fathom a brother wearing a white wig. I don't know. I honestly didn't know it was still a thing.
Commercials for that on DCC America, and it looked funny in the trailers. I've never really watched the shows, to be honest with you, all the different versions. But,
I don't think Kat watched the show yet. Have you, Kat?
I haven't seen any of these shows. I've only heard of them.
But now we got a new Law and Order coming out.
Oh boy.
Do you know what the name of this Law and Order show is?
Law and Order?
Law and Order True Crimes, The Menendez Stories.
Oh, Jesus,
Oh,
really?
I've actually seen the adverts for that.
Okay,
I've never even heard of that.
yeah, we got
Sorry, guys.
advertising all over New York. Don't worry. Now, have you heard about this? Now, this is based on a true story.
Right. Hernandez brothers.
Okay,
We all know about them.
you, the Menendez brothers.
I don't have a clue
I believe
who
they killed
are.
They killed their rich kids
Well,
who killed their rich parents while they slept.
Oh,
And there was a huge trial in America, and they were twin brothers, and they killed their parents for money.
and this actually
This
happened.
sounds charming.
This is not a
This happened in
Well,
like
here's
the
the
late
thing,
80s,
okay.
I think.
late early 90s. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was one of those. That's when Court TV was still Court TV before they went to True TV.
Right.
And it was a big thing because the first trial ended in mistrial, and the second one, they was found guilty and received life in prison. They was gonna get caught because they did a lot of stupid things. One, after they had buried their parents, they went on a spinning spree.
Yeah.
Right there. So
They killed their parents for money. They were going to get cut off. Is what it was. So.
they was very spoiled kids, and they tried to make it sound like they was being abused and everything else, and nobody was buying that.
Yeah, they were crying on the stand and stuff, and then they even turned on each other. It was a big dumb thing.
It was a big thing. Yeah. Now, I'm not completely knocking this concept because again, if you're a big fan of Lifetime Movie Channel or anyone or any of these shows that shows based on true story on free TV, this is nothing new. Okay, you kind of come to expect. I'm kind of surprised they didn't talk about the Menendez brothers years ago when it was still fresh on people's minds. That's not my problem. My problem is you put Law and Order as the main title
what
of
does
this.
that have to do with Law and Order? I mean,
It's called
ridiculous.
Law and Order True Crimes, the Menendez story. Why?
It could be just to get people that are such diehard fans of Law and Order, which I know some people, older people, that they're watching anything with Law and Order on it, maybe. But I mean,
that don't make no sense.
It doesn't. I mean, they should have just done what Discovery or A&E or somebody did. They did one on the Unabomber. It was like a 5-episode thing or something. That was good. It was in the whole investigation of the Unabomber. But how are you going to stretch one trial into like season after season?
But this is the thing, though. I don't even know if it's a way to a made for TV saga they're doing. First the Menendez, then something
they
else.
They call them mini seasons or mini series. It's probably a mini series. Is what they're going to call it.
But the thing is, you don't need to put Law and Order in it.
No, it's just they're just trying to cash in on it.
And the main title is called Law and Order True Crimes. That's the name of the title. And when I looked at it, I said, "Oh, the new Law and Order." I'm like, "Wait, True Crimes." And I looked at it; it's called the Menendez. I was like, "Oh, they're gonna do this. Just call it Menendez Brother, or call it True Crimes."
I think they're just running out of stuff. That's it. It's just like movies and TV. They're running out of stuff. They're trying to get you hooked on any way they can and hope you get into it and ignore the name after a while. But
come on, I mean, why you're making a brand that was never made? Look, Law and Order. Their concept is okay. There was a Law and Order, the original series. I'm not talking about the ones that's running now. Mm-hmm. They actually reenact or retold the story. It was never based on a true story, but you got it. They had the ideas based on an actual event, and they just re-scripted for the television. They got in trouble a couple of times for that because one of them was the Puerto Rican Day riot in the parade, and the episode was somebody got murdered, and they had to solve that crime while that chaotic stuff was going on. But it never said based on a true event. As a matter of fact, a couple of episodes later, they actually had to post. These are not real. These are not based on actual events. These actors are these people do not exist and everything else because they got called out for it.
Right.
But now you're basically saying, "Oh, Law and Order, True Crimes." Why? Just leave it alone. Leave Law and Order.
Who knows? I've noticed on TV series now, after like one season, they're changed the name slightly. One show, for example, was on AMC. It was called Turn, just called Turn. And what it was is about Washington, General Washington's spy ring. And by the second season, it was called Turned Washington Spies. So, I mean, that's just one example, but I've seen a lot of shows changing their names as they go on as people complain about their names, or they confuse the shit out of people. Like, if you just saw in the channel guide the word turn, you were like, okay, flip right past that. So, I think it's literally people figure out what they're going to watch by going through the channel guide and seeing a name. And if they see Law and Order, they may not, especially if the title conveniently is too long for the little block for its time slot, all they see is the word Law and Order. And they will probably click on it and watch, go, what the hell am I watching? But not stop watching it, and just keep watching it, which is all they need you to do, whether you like it or not.
Well, I'm going to see if I can find the poster for you guys, because I want you to see this poster, because it says a lot. It really does. Let me just find it, because I know that I can get my my tasks to work the way I want it to work. I can go into it.
He's working on it.
Law and Order. It's a nice poster, by the way. I got to give them credit. They did a good job with the poster. It's just out of place for a Law and Order show. And for those who want to know about football, Philadelphia beat the Los Angeles Chargers 26-24. Giants now lost 4 in a row. Thank goodness. Jets won in overtime. Just thought I'd give you guys a little. It goes to football fans because it is Football Sunday. Our Lord and Savior of sports. You don't like?
I don't really.
You don't like football?
Sports. Nah, never really understood the big excitement over.
All right, so I'm trying to type in. Come on, Taz. Maybe cut some of these stuff off here because that's probably what's causing it to slow down. Dick showed up. Law and Order True Crime: The Menendez Murders. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can click that bad boy.
I just opened the news for the first time today. Sorry.
Well, trust me, you ain't missing much. Trump in his usual Twitter tirade.
Yeah,
that's nothing new.
Yeah, it's the first thing that came up. I will have to read that later. I'll probably do it while I'm sitting on the toilet, where I find it's easiest to read Trump-related articles.
I got a whole. There's people doing reviews on this already. Let's see if I can find a poster. I'm gonna go to Wiki because they got some good posters. Wikipedia. One thing about Wikipedia, somebody always posts those classic posters. Okay, there we go. Law and Order Wikipedia. I'm gonna show you the poster.
Okay.
If they actually have it on the freaking Wikipedia, which I'll be surprised they don't. No, they don't.
What about IMDb?
Nah, man. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna find this poster. It gotta be here.
Just try using Google Image. Type in the
That's
title.
what I'm doing now.
I love Google Image. I use that more.
There
Google.
we go. Yeah, there we go. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them. I'm trying to find the one I saw on the There it is. All right, I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you the link address right now, and then we're gonna end with some notable.
I'll be waiting.
The link. Damn. That's a big long link.
Jeez.
You see it on the. You see it,
Okay,
Josh?
yeah. That is a dumb poster. What the hell? It looks like
Lady is
Doctor Strange poster almost to me. That is a weird poster. I don't know. It does not. I didn't even see the name of the movie. I just couldn't stop staring at that weird ass lady with that weird ass haircut, which is from obviously the time period. But I don't think I'll be watching it.
But this is the thing is, if it would have said the Menendez Murders, okay, but you put Law and Order right there.
Yeah, that's fucked. What are you gonna do?
Turned out to be a good show. I mean, you never know, but
Oh, it could
I
be.
can't.
But the title is screwed up.
So before we go, Kat, is there anything new in the entertainment world that you'd like to tell us? I know BK, I almost say BK, I don't know why I'm thinking about Burger King all of a sudden. UK is, their region is different. They perhaps different schedules. Is there anything new coming over that's coming your way? Whether it's concerts or movies or megastars. I know you guys are gonna get the Woody Woodpecker movie before we do. Thank you.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, we. You didn't see the movie trailer for that?
Nope, I didn't even know
If you
that
do,
existed.
it's gonna come out in Brazil first. It is the most weird looking thing I have ever seen in my life.
Oh boy.
I didn't know Woody Woodpecker was that popular back in there. So I was kind of curious. I know they come out in the UK. I don't know if it's coming to the US. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get in the US, and I'm thankful for that. Like Top Cat, the movie.
Oh boy.
What? Any famous movie stars that are?
I don't keep up with this sort of thing. I know there's YouTubers that I watch coming around, but that's not until next year. But other than that, I don't. I do not have a clue. I'm sorry.
And what about the king and queen and the princess over there? I know there's something stirring over there. They won a lawsuit. I know that.
A lawsuit about what?
It was something about a picture that was taken of them, and she took the paparazzi to court, and she won. I don't know how much amount they have.
I think I know what you're talking about. It set a lot of the laws about paparazzi up even after. I mean, they were all cemented in after Diana died, but somebody took some telescopic lenses and took some compromising photos. I mean, it was just they were in like a state of dress or a certain state of dress or something, and it's you can't do that to the royal family. And a lot of celebrities now move to the UK because there's strong paparazzi laws there. So
there's strong paparazzis in Los Angeles too. It's just that the problem is with these paparazzi is they do a lot of illegal stuff, like climbing people's. I mean, you can take if they're outside, you can take a picture, but when you're climbing walls to take that picture, you're going way beyond photographing.
They can't get within so many feet of the person. They can't use telescopic lenses in the UK. They cannot follow them, especially. You cannot get in a car and follow them. You can't take certain pictures. I don't believe you're allowed to take pictures of their children.
I think that was one of the things.
In America, it's a small fine for some of the things. In Britain, it is jail time. And once that happens to you, nobody will buy pictures from you anymore. So, and just in general in the UK, since the Diana thing, they're voluntarily more respectful of celebrities.
Okay.
So yeah, the Diana thing made a huge change, and then over the years, as digital cameras became more available and more people became paparazzis, I do know that they made the laws even stronger. And it's nice for the UK because then the American actors are living there, and if they want to work, they can maybe go work for the British pictures.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm never really knew that, so that's very very interesting.
It'd be interesting to find out how many American actors and their families live in the UK.
Well, Madonna has an address in the UK.
Who's that?
Tina Turner has. I think Tina Turner renounced her citizenship and moved to the UK at one point.
That is likely, yeah. I mean, most celebrities have a UK home anyways, but they just start spending more time there. Sometimes they come back here to go to school, but a lot of them found that the educational system in the UK far surpasses the American education system. So they just raise their family there. So they do what they used to do to go to UK for a little while. They're come to America for a little while. It's strange, but I mean, I get it. It's privacy. I mean, you just can't get privacy anymore. So.
Well, that's almost gone. Thanks to the world of, camera phones and the internet.
It's scary.
We'll wrap it up here, but that's the positive of the UK, Kat. You should be proud.
I'd rather live in the UK. I've said many times I'd love to live in the UK. So.
In the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what next week episode is gonna be. We're gonna go back to the 80s.
Ooh, that's good because me and Aaron are gonna go see a movie tomorrow that started back in the day. We're gonna go see Blade Runner.
Good, because we're gonna talk about famous.
I'll find out if it's out. If it's out, we're going tomorrow. I thought it was out. I thought it came out Friday.
So I hope you guys have your Back to the Future, your Blade Runner, your Conans. We're going to talk about the 80s films and how it differs from the 90s. We're also going to be having dead genres. Now, genres that was once famous. We can even go back from the 40s if you want to, even though we wasn't born yet. But we're going to talk about dead genres as well. So it's going to be a hot pack thing we're going to be doing. Also, Jessica says she wants to be closer to you, Kat. So, in any case, I'll let you guys talk that out when I'm off there. Anyway, we're going to have a lot of stuff here. And the reason why we're talking about it is because we're seeing a trend that I'm not too fond of, but I'm going to talk about it because I do have a soft spot. In case you guys haven't noticed, a lot of shows from the 80s and 90s are just popping up. We got Will and Grace coming back.
That one, oh, geez. There's one person on my Facebook who's been obsessing about that show. I've never watched an episode of that show. I remember it was something about somebody was gay and acting gay or not gay or something. I have no idea, but I saw the trailers for the new one. I was like, oh my God, they really just give up on making shows. They just literally, none of those people were doing anything better. Hey, want to come back and do some more?
Hey, don't get mad. They got Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's coming back.
I don't really think that had to come back either. That was another one. I was like, why? That confused the shit out of me when I saw trailers. I was like, they're like, oh, they stole episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm off the server. I'm like, so what? You could just go to the store and get it on DVD. And Aaron's like, no, they're making more. I was like, why? Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And we got Twin Peaks after being gone for how long?
I thought that was a movie.
About 20 years.
I didn't know that was a TV show.
Years?
Twin Peaks. Yeah.
I see it when I have HBO and Showtime and all that stuff, and I see it, and I always thought Twin Peaks was an old movie. I've never seen anything Twin Peaks. And
you never heard about the TV show?
No, it was just one of those things.
I'm shocked.
Like I said, whenever somebody says something about Twin Peaks over the years, I thought they were talking about some movie, and I was like, I've never seen it.
Oh, well, they bring that back.
I definitely know that.
So I said, you know what? Enough is enough. We're going to talk about the 80s. And why these shows are coming out, why these movies are why the movies of the 80s seem to have more of an impact to us in the 90s, as well as dead genres. So that's next week on this show. So, Rev, I hope you're going to join us. Love to hear your input on that. Josh, as usual, I will be in input. Kat, you're invited because even though you're in the UK, I know you heard about Back to the Future.
I love Back to the Future.
Good.
We're going to be talking about that. And by the way, has the Broadway show came out yet in the UK?
Of what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's in the UK. Back to the Future is going to be having a Broadway show in the UK. And you got excited real quick.
That would mean it's a West End show. I will have to look that up now.
Yep, they're in development of a Back to the Future the musical.
See, my friend who
don't ask me how they go.
My friend that just left before I came in and joined you guys, he is a big 80s and 90s film buff. I mean, this man, up until 7 years ago, would only listen to 80s music. He loves Back to the Future. That when New Year's came, in the anniversary from the first movie, when he jumped time, whatever, he was all weepy about it and emotional and excited. I mean, this man loves Back to the Future. I'm going to have to maybe we can get him on this podcast because
get him on because we won't be talking about that because there's so much history about Back to the Future that you'd be surprised.
Oh God, he can go on for hours. I mean, he has because we're talking about starting a podcast about we just get in these long tangents of older stuff, older technology.
Ask him one question for me. Ask him one question for me because I still don't get why this man hates this franchise. I don't understand it, especially since that's the only thing I remember him in. I know he was in Family Ties, but as a guest star, but Kristen Glover.
The mother or the
Glover, the person who plays George McFly.
Oh, well, that's because he's hard to. I mean, that's what you think. Again, I think it's because it's the only thing he's known for strongly. I mean, he was in Willard and that whatever fucking Angels movies, the Charlie's Angels and stuff. He just plays little roles. but that was his big role, and I don't know why. I mean, I know that if you watch the bloopers from Back to the Future, what nobody wants to deal with ever again is the DeLorean. Because it caused 90% of the outtakes was that stupid piece of crap car. The door wouldn't close. The door wouldn't open. It took 3 people to close the door, and the door would break. And it was just like everything was Michael J. Fox cursing about the car, hitting their heads, getting in and out of it. They hated the car. But what's his name that plays Doc Brown says that is his favorite movie ever. And then when Seth MacFarlane made A Million Ways to Die in the West, and he has the most closest replica, Seth MacFarlane, of the DeLorean. Okay, he owns it himself, and he took it to the set because Doc Brown was going to be in from the last one where he's in the barn working on his weather experiments. He's walking by and he sees the welder from underneath the door, and he opens the door. He's like, "Oh, what's that?" And he's in there hammering on the DeLorean. He goes, "Oh!" It covers it back. It's a weather experiment. Oh, okay, walks away. Little blurb because he's a nerd. And then the outtakes, he's like, I was like, were you excited? He's like, God, they didn't even finish. They're like, oh, they're gonna have Doc Brown. He's like, I'll do it. I don't care what it is. Sure, I love it. And he's sitting there and he's hammering on this thing on top of the door. And he's like, are you sure you want me to hammer this close? I might dent it. He's like, if you dent it, and it's you who dents it, doing something as Doc Brown, I will just kiss that spot. He's like, that will make it officially a Back to the Future car if you damage it during filming for something for Back to the Future. So,
in case you guys want to know, this is a sneak peek of next week's episode, so I'm keeping that in mind. But we're going to be talking more. I want you to save this energy because we're going to just share about the 80s films. And again, this is one of the highlights of it because a lot of shows, a lot of movies from the 80s still to this day has a stronger impact than films that came off of the 90s even today, and probably there's a reason for it. So we're going to touch on that, including dead genres, including stuff we really don't want to see made a sequel, and I think 90% of us will say Back to the Future should be leave as is, but that's for next week. So we're going to just leave it at that. So I'm assuming, Rev, that you're going to be joining us for this episode.
I will attempt to. I got to work out the phone issues. I don't have a PC here right now. But
just share PC with Josh.
Well, Josh won't be here next week.
Okay.
But if I can get my friend to be interested in it, because he's doing a podcast right now, actually, at his house. That's why he had to take off. But I think that podcast ends
if he wants to join.
Week, but if I can get him in on it, I'm pretty sure he would jump at that. So I'll talk to him about that.
Tell him Back to the Future's there. All right, so we're gonna cut off because right now I'm not making this a 2 hour. We're almost there though, but we covered a lot of stuff with Animorphs and what we're gonna talk into it. Kat, will you be part of the podcast next week? I don't know if Kat's still available. I'll just probably text her.
Are you there, Kat?
We'll text her. We'll know. But if you can hear me, Kat, I know you're probably your Wi-Fi is a little bit off. There you go.
I got called downstairs. I'm currently downstairs, so if you hear someone shouting for me, I'm on the stairs right now.
Okay.
So what were you saying?
I'm saying, are you with us next week for the best of the 80s? You know, Back to the Future can be talked about.
I do hope to be there for next week because I would like to talk about Back to the Future, but I want to talk about more 80s stuff.
All right, so we got it. Josh, I know you're going to be there because, and somehow you will put Animorphs involved in that.
I can't hear you, but he'll be there. So.
Well, Animorphs is more 90s, so you don't have to worry about that.
So, all right. So that's our next episode.
All right.
And if you can get your guy going, that would be great. Just do me one favor. If he needs the link or he needs to let me know, I'll try and give it from my end, or Josh King will give it from our end.
Right.
That way we're going to have it. And until next time, guys, J77 saying take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Say goodbye, guys.
I'll pass the microphone.